Does background knowledge increase student comprehension? During week 2 of RDG 592, we discussed strategies on how to improve students' comprehension of the text read. You may remember reading the article, Reading Comprehension Requires Knowledge of Words and the World by E.D. Hirsch Jr. This article got me thinking about how much background knowledge I provide for my students, especially now, since I am in grade 1, and their knowledge base is small. So this got me thinking about how I could improve my students' comprehension through background knowledge. So begins the quest. I went on ERIC and found more than 5 articles on background knowledge and comprehension. After reading a plethora of articles about background knowledge and comprehension, I settled on 5 articles that I felt best spoke to the topic of background knowledge education. The following slides will describe the approaches that I found during my research. Research has found that children from lower socioeconomic groups were in greater need of background knowledge than those in higher socioeconomic groups. Research also noted that activating prior knowledge is beneficial to all students. Here's a quote. Background knowledge is essential for reading comprehension. Put simply, the more you know about a topic, the easier it is to read a text, understand it, and retain the information. This reminds me of the Matthew effect that we have been learning about from the beginning of this reading science course. The rich get richer. As simple as that. Immersion approach. E.D. Hirsch suggests that reading comprehension and vocabulary are best served by spending extended time on reading and listening to texts on the same topic and discussing the facts and ideas in them. This approach is similar to the text set discussed in the Building Background Knowledge Through Reading Rethinking Text Sets by Sarah Lupo and colleagues. The Quad Text Set framework assists with building students' background knowledge, and it increases their reading volume and exposes students to more complex texts, something we want our students to do. The Quad Text Set framework seems more suited for upper elementary, middle, or high school students. This encourages teachers to provide students with multiple exposures to the targeted text subject matter. This is accomplished by providing students with routines before, during, and after reading. So before you start reading the text or the text on the subject matter, you teach academic vocabulary. You provide a preview of the subject matter, and you show students how to use a graphic organizer to present text structure. During reading, you will give students a reading guide. You will have them do paired reading that is structured and organized. You would have them do disciplinary literacy strategies. After reading, you would encourage them to discuss what they've learned, to write a summary, to even write a text-based argument. Once students have engaged in the before, during, and after reading activities, they should be well versed in the subject matter, and comprehension of the targeted text should be much easier. The researchers encourage the use of visual or video text, informational text, and accessible texts, which are from young adult fiction, nonfiction articles, or popular culture. In this graphic representation, we know that vocabulary helps reading comprehension, and when children can comprehend, they will read more. So if we teach individual words, exposure to rich oral language, generative word knowledge, that would help comprehension strategies, and then we can build on background knowledge and decoding and accuracy and fluency. And that in turn will encourage students to read more. They will be motivated to read because they understand more of what they read. Approach number 2. This approach seems more suited to lower elementary, although it also uses text immersion and visual media. And yet again, we are to build vocabulary. And they suggest that we teach words in categories. So if we have words and we give them a group of words, and how would they categorize these words? Use contrast and comparisons. We've seen in other readings throughout this course that using puzzles and puzzling and having experts in certain topic or subject matter, then bringing them together to share and discuss. Using analogies, another type of comparison between two things that are usually thought to be different from each other, and having children explore the categories. And sometimes they will not understand what they're supposed to be comparing to, but they may, once you give them an example. For example, bird is to feather as dog is to fur, of course. So it's modeling that analogies for our students so that then they can do that themselves. Encourage students to read as many books as they can on a topic. This will encourage students to become experts on a topic. It reminds me of that puzzling strategy that we learned about in this course. Using multimedia. These children are growing up in a technology world. Everything can be found on the internet. There are different programs that are available that were never available to us that make learning more interesting. So providing them with these opportunities, it will motivate them to build their knowledge base, and therefore they would want to read more on a specific subject matter. Research concludes that providing students with background knowledge can increase students' comprehension of a text. Whether you utilize approach 1 or 2, the key seems to be immersion into the subject matter. It is recommended that for lower elementary, that they be immersed in a topic for 2 to 3 lessons before approaching the targeted text. And for upper elementary to high school, it is recommended that you spend a couple of weeks before approaching the targeted text. This research has made me look closely at how I introduce a topic to my students and question whether my students have enough background to comprehend the targeted text. It is now behooves me to make sure that I provide them with enough background knowledge by building on their vocabulary, by exposing them to multiple texts, by using media, by having them make comparisons, but most importantly, to discuss what they are learning about a topic. This helps cement what they are learning when they can share it with others. Assessment. How can we assess this? Well, one way that I can think of assessing this is providing them with a comprehension activity prior to starting the unit. And then at the completion of giving them background knowledge, have them repeat that same assessment and see if there's any marked improvement. I'm sure there are other ways to assess this as well, but that is the one way that I can think of assessing comprehension. Here are the resources, the articles that I have used to build this presentation, as well as a couple of links that I found as I was doing my research. One of them is from Reading Rockets. The other one is from Comprehensive Reading Solutions, which provides you with a video on quad text sets. That's quite interesting. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.